Alright folks, rev up your engines and strap on those helmets. We're gonna take a wild ride through the gritty world of outlaw motorcycle clubs. These leather-wearing road warriors have captured the public imagination for decades. They inspire both fear and fascination. But behind all the chrome and chaos, there's a complex world of loyalty, violence, brotherhood, and organized crime. Today we're counting down the top 5 most notorious biker gangs in America. Now these guys aren't your weekend riders or charity run organizers. We're talking about the 1%ers. The outlaws who live by their own rules and don't answer to anybody but themselves. From coast to coast, these gangs have left their tire tracks on American crime history. So kickstart your engines and hold on tight. It's gonna be a bumpy ride. Coming in at number 5, we got the Pagans Motorcycle Club. Now don't let their mystical sounding name fool you. These guys are as tough as the asphalt they ride on. They were founded in 1959 in Prince George's County, Maryland, and the Pagans' influence spread pretty quickly across the East Coast. These guys are known for their blue denim jackets and colored patches. But these riders aren't just out for a Sunday cruise. The Pagans have had a long history of conflicts with law enforcement and other rival biker gangs. These guys have been involved in everything from drug trafficking to extortion, and they've left a trail of broken laws and broken bones in their wake. Probably one of the most notorious incidents occurred in 2002 at the Hellraiser Ball in Long Island, New York. The Pagans crashed an event which was hosted by the Hells Angels. The brawl left one Pagan member taking a permanent dirt nap, and about a dozen or more were injured. Even though these guys have had to face numerous law enforcement crackdowns, the Pagans have shown remarkable resilience. They operate with a military-style hierarchy, and each chapter has a mother club that calls the shots. Now, the Pagans' involvement extends beyond just criminal activities. They've been known to infiltrate legitimate businesses and even law enforcement agencies, which kind of blurs the line between the outlaw world and mainstream society. While these guys might not have the global reach of some of the other clubs, the Pagans have an iron grip on the East Coast, and that earns them a solid spot in our top 5. These guys are a reminder that sometimes the most dangerous roads are the ones that are closest to home. Cruising into spot number 4, we've got the Bandidos Motorcycle Club. With their distinctive red and gold colors and fat Mexican logo, these guys are pretty hard to miss, and that's just how they like it. The Bandidos were founded in Texas in 1966 by Vietnam War veteran Donald Chambers, and the Bandidos quickly lived up to their outlaw name, with their motto being, "We are the people our parents warned us about." Pretty much gives you a good sense that there's some truth in that advertising. Now, the Bandidos have spread out way beyond the Lone Star State. These guys have chapters all across the US, and they even go international. They're especially strong in the Southwest and have a significant presence in Australia and Europe. These guys are known for their involvement in drug trafficking, extortion, and violent turf wars. The Bandidos have earned the reputation as one of the Big 4 outlaw motorcycle clubs, and they have been in the crosshairs of law enforcement for decades, going through a lot of raids and various prosecutions. One of the most famous incidents happened in Waco, Texas in 2015. There was a confrontation with rival clubs, including the Cossacks. These guys turned a parking lot at a Twin Peaks restaurant into a war zone. When the smoke had finally cleared, 9 bikers had punched their final ticket, and a whole lot more were injured. The Bandidos operate with a strict hierarchical structure. At the very top, you have a national president, and then underneath him are the various chapters. These guys are known for their intense loyalty to the club and their 1% patch, which is a symbol of their outlaw status. Now, despite their fearsome reputation, the Bandidos, like a lot of other clubs, also do charity work and community events. It's this dual nature that is part community organization and part criminal enterprise that makes these guys like the Bandidos so fascinating and complex. Because of their widespread influence and notorious reputation, the Bandidos have certainly earned their place among the most infamous biker gangs in America. These guys are a testament to the enduring appeal of the outlaw biker lifestyle, for better or worse. Roaring into 3rd place, we've got the Outlaws Motorcycle Club. These are the guys with the skull and crossed pistons logo, and they wear their outlaw status like a badge of honor. The Outlaws can trace their roots back to 1935, to Matilda's Bar on Old Route 66 near Chicago. This makes them one of the oldest outlaw motorcycle clubs in America. Their official motto is, "God forgives, outlaws don't." And that's the kind of phrase that gives you a pretty good idea of what these guys are all about. They're also known for their fierce rivalry with the Hells Angels. The Outlaws have been involved in a lot of violent confrontations over the years. These guys have gone way beyond their Midwest origins, and they have chapters all over the U.S. and in several other countries. The Outlaws have been implicated on a wide range of criminal activities. A little bit of everything from drug trafficking to racketeering. These guys have also gone through a lot of law enforcement crackdowns, including a major case in 2010 that ended up with several high-ranking members being sent to the big house. One of the most notorious incidents involving the Outlaws happened in 1994. They were involved in a violent clash with the Hells Angels at a motorcycle show in Yonkers, New York. The brawl left several bikers pushing up the daisies, and many more were injured. And just like the other major clubs, the Outlaws have a strict hierarchical culture. There's a national president and various regional chapters. These guys are known for their intense loyalty to the club and their distinctive Charlie logo, which is a skull and crossed pistons. The Outlaws have somehow managed to maintain their influence and power even after decades of law enforcement pressure. These guys have adapted to changing times, and they're even on social media to help promote their brand. Now, of course, these guys aren't stupid. They're pretty careful to keep their more shadowy activities offline. What sets the Outlaws apart is their long history and their ability to maintain their outlaw image while also evolving with the times. These folks are a great example of how these clubs blend old-school biker culture with modern organized crime tactics. With their deep roots in American biker culture and their continuous influence in the criminal underworld, the Outlaws have more than earned their spot in the top 3 most notorious biker gangs. Speeding into second place, we got the Mongols Motorcycle Club. Now don't let their smaller size fool you. These guys pack a pretty serious punch. They were founded in 1969 in Montebello, California, and they quickly gained a reputation as being one of the most violent outlaw motorcycle clubs in America. Their patch, which kind of has a Genghis Khan-like figure on a motorcycle, is a pretty sought-after trophy for a lot of rival clubs. The Mongols are perhaps best known for their bitter rivalry with the Hells Angels, especially in Southern California. This feud has led to a lot of violent confrontations over the years, leaving a trail of broken bones and busted bikes in its wake. One of the most high-profile incidents involving the Mongols happened in 2002 at the Laughlin River Run. There was a run-in with the Hells Angels in a Laughlin, Nevada casino that left 3 bikers taking the ultimate ride, and a lot more were injured. The incident brought national attention to the ongoing biker gang wars, and the Mongols have been a prime target for years for law enforcement. These guys have had to face a lot of raids and prosecutions. In 2008, Operation Black Rain led to the arrest of dozens of Mongols members, including their national president. The operation was so extensive that the government even tried to seize the club's trademark, which would have made it illegal for members to wear their patches. Even with all these setbacks, the Mongols have shown remarkable resilience. They continue to maintain a strong presence in Southern California and have expanded to other parts of the U.S. and even internationally. Now, what makes the Mongols so noteworthy is their reputation for extreme violence and their willingness to go toe-to-toe with larger and more established clubs. These guys have been described by law enforcement as the most violent and dangerous outlaw motorcycle gang in the nation. The Mongols also stand out for their diverse membership. I mean, unlike some of the other clubs that have restricted membership policies, the Mongols have a significant number of Hispanic members, which reflects the changing demographics of Southern California. With their fearsome reputation, their ongoing criminal activities, and their ability to survive even the most intense law enforcement pressure, the Mongols have certainly earned their place as one of the most notorious biker gangs in America. These guys are a reminder that in the world of outlaw bikers, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, but the size of the fight in the dog. Crossing the finish line in first place with a roar of thundering engines, we've got the undisputed kings of the outlaw biker world, the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club. Founded in 1948 in Fontana, California, The Hells Angels have become the most infamous motorcycle club in the world. The winged death's head logo is recognized globally, and it strikes fear in their enemies and awe in their admirers. The Hells Angels' popularity skyrocketed in the 1960s, partially thanks to Hunter S. Thompson's book called Hells Angels, A Strange and Terrible Saga. Since then, they have been a constant presence in popular culture, pretty much symbolizing the ultimate outlaw lifestyle. But now these guys are way more than just a cultural icon. They've been implicated in a wide range of criminal activities, everything from drug trafficking to extortion to murder. Law enforcement agencies around the world consider them one of the most significant organized crime threats. One of the most famous incidents involving the Hells Angels was the 1969 Altamont Free concert. These guys were hired as security for the Rolling Stones, but the night ended with a Hells Angels member sending a concert-goer to that great gig in the sky. The incident marked the end of the 1960s era of peace and love for a lot of people. The Hells Angels also have a strict hierarchical structure, with a highly organized system of chapters and charters. Their membership process is notoriously difficult. Guys have to prove themselves for years as a hang-around, and then you have to be a prospect before you get to be a full-patch member. Now, what really sets the Hells Angels apart is their global reach. They have chapters in dozens of different countries all over the world. That truly makes them an international organization. This network allows them to operate on a scale that the other clubs can only dream of, even with decades of law enforcement efforts, which included many high-profile raids and prosecutions. The Hells Angels have managed to maintain their power and influence. They've shown remarkable ability to adapt to changing times, even embracing social media and merchandising to promote their brand. The Hells Angels represents the ultimate top of outlaw biker culture. They embody the freedom of the open road, the brotherhood of the club, and the dangers of life outside the law. Whether you love them or fear them, there's no denying that the Hells Angels' place is at the top of the outlaw motorcycle world. As we bring our journey through the world of outlaw motorcycle clubs to an end, it's pretty clear that these organizations are way more than just guys on bikes. They represent a complex subculture that blends brotherhood, criminality, and a fierce devotion to personal freedom. From the East Coast dominance of the Pagans to the global reach of the Hells Angels, each one of these clubs has left a visible scar on American crime history. These guys have inspired fear, fascination, and countless Hollywood adaptations. But now it's important for us to remember the real-world impact of these organizations. Behind all the leather and chrome, there's a trail of broken laws, broken lives, and ongoing challenges for law enforcement. But at the same time, a lot of these clubs also engage in charity work and community events, which just adds to another layer of complexity to their public image. It's this duality, which is part community organization and part criminal enterprise, that makes all of these motorcycle clubs so fascinating. I mean, like we've all seen, even with the decades of law enforcement efforts, these clubs have shown remarkable resilience. They've adapted to changing times, they've embraced new technologies, and they've attracted new members who are drawn to the allure of the outlaw lifestyle. So whether you see them as romantic rebels or dangerous criminals, you can't deny the ongoing influence of outlaw motorcycle clubs in American culture and crime. They're a reminder of the enduring appeal of life on the open road and the higher price that sometimes comes with it. So the next time you hear the rumble of motorcycles, just remember, it might be more than just a group of weekend warriors out for a ride. It could be the sound of America's outlaw biker legacy still going strong after all these years. But now, while the world of outlaw motorcycles can be fascinating, it's also pretty dangerous. Always prioritize your safety and respect the law. Up next, fasten your seatbelts and get ready for a